The Minister of Land Reform, Zonele Nyonso, had told parliamentarians that just under 5,000 land claims had been rejected by the Land Claims Court, by the cases, of course, having been registered at the time of the deadline of December 31st, 1998. We now speak to Chief Land Claims Commissioner Nomfundo Ntloko on this. Nomfundo, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. A variety of reasons were cited by the Minister as to why these claims were rejected, the 5,000 claims. But the vast majority of claims had been processed, are still somewhat being processed to an extent, and they face great difficulties. Talk to us about why some of those claims had been rejected, at least the 4,757 claims.
Good evening, Mr. Dixon and the viewers, and thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope you can hear me. I'm
loud and clear.
Feedback.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you very much. So what is important for us to note is that we operate under the Restitution Act of 1994, which is as a result of our constitution declaring land reform a priority. And so we are guided specifically by the Restitution Act, and Section 2 of the Act actually gives you a criteria on who is eligible to lodge a claim. And a key factor there is that you must have been dispossessed of your land rights after June 1913. Secondly, you must have been dispossessed as a result of racially discriminatory laws and or practices. And thirdly, you must have not received just and equitable compensation. So the number that you're referring to, which is about 4,757, is a sum total of those claims to date that did not meet that criteria. So once we conduct our investigation and we establish that actually you lost your land, but it had nothing to do with racial legislation or practices, then automatically you cannot then seek land reform under the restitution process. Then your claim is regarded as not having met the standard, and then will then be rejected on that basis.
The court had received 78,000, or at least 78,000 claims had been lodged, just over 78,000, 78,533 at the time of the deadline in 1998. 71,000 of these were investigated. How many of these have been successfully concluded, and where we have had instances where land was successfully transferred to the claimants?
I think that we have two windows. We've got the 1998 claims where around 80,000, as you indicated, were lodged, and these are
Nomfundo, can I just ask that you repeat?
But there is an administrative process.
Sorry, Nomfundo, can I ask that you just repeat your last sentence there, because your line just cut there for a second. We couldn't make that out.
Okay, so you'll tell me if you can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear.
Thank you. So we're saying that of the 1998 claims that were lodged, about 70,000 of those that have been settled already. And these are settled either via financial compensation or land restoration. And if the community or individual or families require their land back, they then have received their land, where transfer is directed to a communal property association that will then hold the land on behalf of the claimants. So the 5,000 or 4,757 are claims that have been dismissed because they did not meet the criteria.
Yeah, just over
so
a billion. So we are
continuing to process claims, and we've got about 5,000.
Yeah, sorry, just over R1 billion in post-transfer support had been extended by the state. Has that been sufficient for the claimants whose claims were successful, now had access to the land, but had no means of either making the land productive and or to restore themselves as inhabitants of the land for whatever reasons the claims may have been submitted. Has that R1 billion in post-transfer support been sufficient?
I think that the number is definitely not R1 billion. I think that I will make sure that you get the correct information, because overall the expenditure is, I think, about over 5 billion that would have been spent on grants. But I don't have the numbers right in front of me now, because I wasn't aware that you were going to ask that information. But in effect, what we're saying is that over 3.8 million hectares of land has been acquired for communities who claimed under the Restitution Act. And we have about 5,000 claims that are outstanding that still need for us to process. And then we have these 4,000 plus claims that were dismissed on the basis that they were not valid. Yes, we provide grants under Section 42C, where our minister, in terms of the Act, is allowed to provide a grant to the communities to assist them as a startup so that they're able to develop the land. But I cannot say that the grant that is available is adequate, in the sense that what we provide is but a small token to get the communities to start up. But the obligation does not sit with the commission only, it sits with government.
Yeah. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, Nomfundo. Really do appreciate it. Nomfundo Ntloko is the Chief Land Claims Commissioner.